Ok. No, il bar è chiuso.
Particolarmente delle canzoni, ricordiamo che poi Lady Gaga aveva vinto pure anche l'Oscar, no? Con in Frozen, quindi volevo chiederti un po' di più sulla colonna sonora di questo film, a parte le due canzoni che abbiamo sentito che sono molto orecchiabili. Da cosa avete preso ispirazioni? Quali canzoni, quale tipo di canzoni potremmo aspettarci da questo film?
Well, I'll tease out a few more songs. One of the things I love, we do have a villain song, and that's something that I know Chris and I have talked about for years, wanting to get a classic villain back and have him have a really fantastic, fun song. I think the key about Julia's music is there's such a range, but it's all really connected to this sense of hope and aspiration. There's a song even, she wrote so much beautiful music, there's a song we couldn't fit in the film that we're putting in the credits because we can't wait for you to hear it. She was a dream to work with. I think because Julia has collaborated with so many incredible artists to bring their voice forward, she truly understood this story and understood Disney, because she loves the Disney films, so that I can feel her coming through. It's purely her own, but I hope you could see in this, there's a real sort of tribute to our powerful songs. When we started talking about this film, Chris and I, neither one of us knew what role we would play. We just were having a lot of fun. And he really was inspired by the watercolor style. He and Mike Giamo had talked for years about wanting to pay tribute, particularly to Sleeping Beauty. You'll see a lot of even references to Sleeping Beauty in Frozen. And so this was their chance. The technology was getting there to really do that. And Chris then said, well, I'd like to be one of the directors. And as we kept talking, I kept seeing this so clearly, and Fawn came on and they asked me to write it. And so for me, it meant a lot to me to get to write this. It was being connected to the legacy and a part of all the conversations, but getting to create new characters, which I love the Frozen world, but it was really fun to step outside. I love the stars, so Star was particularly special to me. But so it's really been this wonderful collaboration of a team that really enjoys dreaming together, but also we were all ready to push ourselves in new directions. Thank you very much. Well, it's interesting is we have a commitment to hand-drawn animation. In fact, just the last couple of years, we've brought back the apprentice program to train new hand-drawn animators. But in terms of, if you think about these films, they're 400 to 500 people with the advanced technology we have. I think we're realistic about what it takes to do an entire feature yet again in hand-drawn. And what really our goal is, I think, is how do we keep pushing technology to bring the bridge to both? How do we acknowledge that the advancements in technology just make so much more possible, but also support what is part of our identity? And I feel very excited about Wish because this is truly a dream come true for a lot of us. And with the hand-drawn animators in our studio, they've been an integral part of this. And the thing that I'm most excited about is when I would work with our incredible artists, the visual development artists, they would do these beautiful paintings, and then it would have to be translated to CG, and it would be many generations away. And as you saw with Lisa's artwork, and Lisa was integral on Frozen, I would write to her paintings. She was such a powerful visionary that to see her, I'm gonna get emotional about it, to see her vision in her painting truly come to life, it's just meant so much to all of us. So for me, I feel like the true answer for us is to keep working with both, never give up on hand-drawn, and we are still making hand-drawn content, and we just premiered a powerful short that is live-action, hand-drawn, and CG together. I'm committed to it, and this as a hybrid, I love the look, I love what it does for our artists, but I also love that we're continuing to recognize that we're moving forward. Interestingly, I think with Frozen, it was a time where, storytelling is always evolving, and as filmmakers, we wanted to explore what if the villain is not so easy to pinpoint, which happens in life. Not everyone is all bad or all good, and this world is very complicated, and I think being able to celebrate that through our antagonism, and in Frozen, fear was really the villain, even bigger than Hans. But we love our classic villains. We grew up on them. The interesting thing, though, is Magnifico, we found, we love developing him, but when we work with folks, it was not the same as just give me a big mean character. They wanted to know everything he did and why. So what we did differently with Magnifico is, from the very first frame of the film, you meet the best of him, and you watch every choice he makes to become, I won't even tell you where he goes in Act 3, but to become that villain, because in a way, audiences want that. They want the motivation, they want the why. And for me, that was so much fun to write, but it was really interesting thinking maybe they just want that class sort of arch, we say mustache twirly, that's the expression, villain, but they don't. They want complex, interesting people. And we also want to make sure our villain, Asha and Magnifico, as I said, have a moment where they're both aligned, but the minute they start to separate their ideas, each can make choices. And so you're really tracking the different choices they make, and each of us make different choices in different situations. So getting to develop him for modern audiences, a modern villain, was, kind of delicious, actually. Sure, I'll answer Star first because I want to say I love that you picked up on Star as hope. Star used to, in the early versions of Star would change form and become human-like at times and could speak. And I like to think the stars have evolved beyond language. But really part of it was, what does Star represent? And the creation of Star to me was that Star represented what Disney gave to us as we were talking in these rooms. Growing up, hope, possibility, joy, wonder, imagination. Those things don't speak, they exist. And so Star did become simpler and does hold a simpler form, though. They do have a wonderful obsession with strings, as you see, yarn, that will be very funny, and they really communicate very well in their own way. But Star is just this, Star can't do the work for you. Hope doesn't do the work for you, but it's there for you. And I think that once we landed there on Star made sense. And then I started watching videos of baby panda bears playing, and they are very mischievous and very funny. And there was this freedom of wonder. And so that became an inspiration for the physicality at first of Star. Well, I think that, I'll start with the first thing is, I've struggled sometimes to get through this presentation because I did have my wish come true and my dream come true. As a child, all I wanted was to be a Disney animator. Now, you might say, but you're not. Right, I cannot draw. But the way that I have gotten to be a part of Disney is beyond my wildest dreams, and I was a child, and I think part of your first question that goes to Wish is, I was a child who had a lot of struggles and who was bullied very hard as a child and struggled quite a bit, and it was Disney films that helped me get through it. I had Cinderella on repeat in VHS. I'm old. We had the old cassettes. And when she was bullied, but she didn't believe the bullies, which is a hard thing not to do. It's hard to, you always feel the bullies there, and she persevered and good things happened. I had that there to keep me going when it was hard. And I think what comes from Wish, from my heart personally, is that message of and as I said, it is, we go through these things, and I don't think as a child we call it in the States ADHD. It's attention, I was all over the place. I was creative, but a messy kid. I wasn't the best at anything. I just dreamed a lot. And I don't think people thought I would amount to much, I'll be honest. And little did I know that my imagination was where my power was. And I want children to feel that. You wish, you fight, you make mistakes, but you keep going, and incredible things happen, and for Asha beyond anything she could ever have imagined. And that matters when life is complicated and the world is hard. And so for me, it is my thank you in a way, because if Disney was there to tell me keep dreaming, and of course I had the villains in my head, and I had the justice that I would daydream, and to get to bring that into a story. I think that's what connects us all, though, is these stories of our own lives. I hope always when we present these films that there are characters and parts to see yourself in, because we don't build this by we say we build it by collaboration, but not by committee. And what that means is we come together as human beings and artists, and we share. We're very vulnerable. We do cry. We laugh a lot, though. We're silly. And it's about our shared experience. And I think, as I'm a Star shows you, like, what this is really about is how we're all connected, and that positive message in a world that is constantly trying to divide us. What I've always appreciated is that Disney is always a place that says you belong.
Grazie a tutti. Grazie Jennifer soprattutto per questa immagine esclusiva. Grazie ancora.